Hello friends, hello, welcome to Free Chess Videos for All. Today we are going to see one game played between world champion Magnus Carlsen and Jeffrey Gion. Jeffrey, he is 19 years old, and we would see that in the game Magnus lost to a 19 years old. So the match is played in Clutch International 2020, where most of the famous players are playing, like Fabiana Caruana, MVL, Grishchuk, and all. Let's dive into the game and see how Jeffrey managed to win the game versus the current world champion. So, yeah, so the game started with knight f3. Magnus is playing white. So, Jeffrey played c5 and Magnus plays e4. Jeffrey played e6. So the game went into Sicilian. So we know the standard move d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, and a6. So these are all standard moves. And now Magnus played c4. Now in e6 Sicilian, this c4 and e4 pawns, these are like standards structure, I would say. So now we can see that the e4 pawn, it's not protected, so you can attack it with knight f6, and as a result you have to protect it. So you can play f3 or bishop d3 or knight c3. So Magnus went for knight c3 and queen c7. So it's also a standard move. So a3. Now the point of a3 is, uh, there could be 2 points. Okay, one is to protect the b4 square, because the f8 bishop can come to b4 and it can pin the c3 knight. Okay, once it is at b4, then you can push the a3 pawn, then the bishop would take the c3 knight. So it could be the scenario, and in other case you play the a3 pawn to push the b4 pawn, because it's a less time game, rapid game. So like it's not that easy to calculate all the things in rapid games. So if you push the b4 pawn, then it means you are gaining space in queen side. Okay, so here Jeffrey played b6 because the c8 bishop is stuck there. So you have to bring up some free squares for the bishop. So probably in next move the bishop would come to b7. So Magnus plays bishop e2 and Jeffrey played bishop b7. Okay, so Magnus plays f3. Yeah, okay, now Jeffrey played bishop e7. Magnus played bishop e3 and Jeffrey castled. Okay, and Magnus also castled. Okay, so we are on 11th move right now, so we can see it's almost equal. Yeah, so Jeffrey played d6 and Magnus brings the rook to c1. So it's a very good strategy to bring the rook on the same file where your opponent's queen is there, because if you can be able to like move the c4 pawn somewhere, like you take the d5 pawn or you take the b5 pawn. Right now it's not there, but in future if it comes to b5 or d5, then it could be a discovery attack to your c7 queen. So it's a good strategy. So knight bd7 from Jeffrey, b4, so gaining more space in queen side, and rook f8. Now king h1. So this move I don't get it that much. Why Magnus played this king h1? Probably we have to like analyze more there. But okay, as of now it's king h1, queen d8. Okay, removing the queen from the same file where your opponent's rook is there. Okay, knight b3. Now the point of knight b3 is you are like you okay, the point of knight b3 here is you can bring the queen to d4 and you can bring the c3 knight to a4, then you can attack the b6 pawn because there are two attackers, there are three attackers, even the e3 bishop is there, so queen can go to d4 and c3, knight can go to a4, and there would be two defenders only because d7 knight and d8 queen. Okay, so knight comes to e5. Okay, good move because you are attacking the c4 bishop, c4 pawn, and now you have to protect it. So c3 knight goes to a4 and knight f d7. Next move, you bring the queen to d4, attacking the b6 pawn as we discussed. You don't have any option, you have to move it. c3 knight goes to a5 to attack the b7 bishop because it's loose. So you have to like, if any in any position there are few like steps you need to follow if you are like a beginner. So you have to see for loose pieces, like we call it creating a threat for your opponent, and you have to see uh, captures, but right now there are no captures available. So yeah, there are available, but it could be a wrong capture. But these are the steps you have to see: loose pieces or hanging pieces, captures, and checks. So right now there is no check available. You have to see the captures and you have to see the loose pieces. Okay, so you bring the knight to c6. So right now the d4 queen is attacked. So white doesn't have any option but to take it. But if he takes the b7 bishop, knight can take the d4, then he takes it, he takes his rook is under attack. Okay, it could be a possible scenario. Yeah, okay, that variation we would look some other time. So let's see what Magnus played. Okay, Magnus took the knight. Yes, Magnus took the knight. So bishop takes c6 knight, c takes b5, bishop takes b5, rook takes c8, rook takes c8. Now queen d1 because your a4 knight is hanging, and queen c7. Now if we analyze the position, we can see there are two pawn islands for, yeah, for black and white, and two bishops, one knight, rook and queen. So it's almost similar. But one thing you have to like assess here, because it's towards, okay, queens are on the board, but if you bring your c7 queen to c2, then like if white takes it, then you would enter into the end game, and in end game our main target is to bring the rooks to 7th rank from white side and to 2nd rank from black side. So let's see what Jeffrey played. Yeah, queen. Okay, sorry. From Magnus, it's bishop d4. Okay. Next move Jeffrey played queen c2. Okay. Now you can take the queen or you can take the b5 bishop. Magnus goes for the bishop. Now takes it and knight b6. Okay, now the rook is attacked on c8 and even the d7 knight. So it forces you to take the d7, sorry, b6 knight, and bishop takes b6. Now queen takes d1, rook takes d1. Now the next move, you can pause the video and just analyze. Yeah, if you are saying is c3, like rook comes to c3, then you guys are absolutely correct. Now your a3 pawn is attacked, you have to save it. Now bishop f6, because you can attack the rook if you move the c3 rook to somewhere, probably on c6, to attack the bishop, and the rook would be attacked by f6 bishop. So yeah, so rook d1. Okay, but we can move the rook to a2, but there is a backrange check. So you can save it with g1, but it won't help you because next move bishop is coming to d4. So it's you would lose a piece. Okay, so as a result, rook d1, you take the a3 pawn, pick up the pawn, all the loose pieces, king g1. Okay, yeah, again, can we take the d6 pawn? If rook gives check to a1, this bishop comes to g8. Okay, it's possible, right? Yeah, but here you can't bring your bishop to d4 because rook d6. Okay, fine, you can't bring it there. Okay, but if we try to get the pawn on b5, okay, suppose he plays bishop e5, and no, you can't play bishop e5 because back rank check is there, right? White is going to win. You can't do that. So you can play g5. Yeah, g5 you can play easily, creating a square for your king. Now if he goes here, you can bring the d4 bishop again. It would be all over for white. So you have to create one square for your king. Okay, fine. g3. So rook can come to b1 and attack the b4 pawn. So it would be soon over for white because bishop is already protecting your c2 square, and you can bring your pawn down to b1, towards b1. Okay, fine. So let's see what Magnus plays over there. Okay, so now it's king g1 from Magnus. Okay, king g1. Okay, now Jeffrey played rook a6 to attack the bishop. Okay, bishop c7 to attack the d6 pawn, double attack on d6 pawn, but you can protect it. Okay, now rook c1, because yeah, there is a back, like if black is not that much cautious and goes for rook a7, you can take it, and if you take it, then it's a no, it's not a mate. No, it's not a mate. You can't take it. I can't take it. It's almost similar, I guess, this move. Okay, but yeah, rook can come to a4 and attack the b4 pawn. Yes. Okay, that's what Jeffrey played. No, Jeffrey went for king f8. Okay, no need to put no need to put king in danger. So bishop a5, stopping the rook to come to a4 and attack the b4 pawn. Okay, now comes d5. So easily we can see here that black can create a pass pawn, and it would be very helpful for him in later stages. So e takes d5, e takes d5, pass pawn created. Now king f1. Okay, but Magnus lost that h2 pawn over here. Now it's rook c5, attacking both b5 and d5 pawn. Okay, rook e6. Now if you take the b5 pawn, what happens there? You can, what can we do? Yeah, you can bring your bishop to g3 and it would be one move. Suppose he takes it, you bring the g3. Yes, okay, now it would be mate. Yeah, on at e1, rook comes to e1. Okay, so it's not possible. So it's not possible. But if it takes the d5 pawn, then again bishop g3, but you can protect, come down to d1, rook d1. Yes, but it would be very like closed situation for white, because white can't move his king to e file, even can go to g1. It would be, yeah, it can go to g1, but you have to calculate over here, because rook comes to e1, rook takes e1, bishop takes e1, then 4 pawns versus 3 pawns, and same color bishop, so it would be advantage for black. Okay, we would see that variation some other time. I'll make one more video on this. So what Magnus played, Magnus goes for g4. Yeah, good move, because you are creating one square for your king on g2. Fine. So there comes d4. Now rook takes b5, d3. Now comes rook d5. Okay, now here comes a very good move from Jeffrey. You can pause the video and think. Yeah, okay, if you say it's rook d6, then you are almost there in the end game, because it forces you to take the d6 rook, and bishop takes d6. Now it would be very difficult for white. So Magnus pushes the b5 pawn, g6. Good move, because you can push h4 and create, sorry, h5 and create one more pass pawn, b6. So both the players can get a queen at b8 and d1, but b8 is protected by the d6 bishop, so no need to worry there. King e8. Now b7. Okay, next move, bishop comes to b6 and goes to a7 and then queen. So okay, it's slow, but it's possible. King d7. Now bishop b4, good move, because you can't take it, queen would be there, but you can easily escape it. Bishop b8, fine. Okay, king f2. Now comes h5, very good move, because you are creating one more pass pawn over there. You have to take it, and then bishop comes to e1, h4. Okay, king g2. Now the h2 and g3 squares are protected by the b8 bishop. You can't go there, and yeah. So Jeffrey played king c6 and Magnus. Okay, can we take the h4 pawn? No, because d2 and queen. No, it's not possible. It's not possible. King h3. Yeah, king h3 and the b7. Yeah, king takes b7 pawn. Now can we take it? Can we? Okay, take it. Now bishop comes to f4. Bishop comes to f4. King g4. Here comes d2. You have to take it, and you have to take it. Now you go there, but it's protected, so not possible. Come to the initial position. So we can't take the h4 pawn. You can't take the h4 pawn. So what to do? Okay, okay, take it. So king g4 from Magnus, and Jeffrey played bishop g3. And here Magnus resigned the game. So it became very difficult for him to handle the pressure here, because if you take the g3 bishop, then d2, and it's over. And even, okay, suppose you don't take it and play bishop d2, then your main, now from black side your focus would be to bring your b7 king towards the d3 pawn and then pushes it. Yeah, so you need to calculate a bit, but I don't think it would be very difficult for black, because he has the situation under control. Yeah, so that's it. Magnus loses the game to a 19-year-old very talented kid. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and please subscribe the channel and like and share the video. And like in the comment section, just let me know if you need any specific game to, like I would bring that analysis for you guys. And like again, if you like the video, please share it and subscribe the channel, and I'll see you soon with new videos. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for watching.